So let's start with the opening chords. G major 7 and A6. Let me show you those a bit more close up. So the G major 7, G root on the 6th string, and then 5, 4, 4, the 5th of the chord, major 7th and the 3rd. In Bert's own notation, he just specifies the root major 7 and 3rd, but when he plays it live, you can see his little finger here on the 5th string, which does help to fill the chord out. That's the first chord. The second chord, same 4 strings. Now we've got a bar on the 4th fret on these 2 strings, 5th and 4th strings, the A root here on the 6th, and the 3rd here, the C sharp, on the 3rd string. So the fingering here is 1 finger per string. Then here, bar here, so the little finger's spare. The little finger is used for the melody, which we'll come to. So there's a rhythm applied to these chords, and I'll show you the right hand in a second. Like that. That's the G. Now the right hand, he's picking all the strings. It's not strummed. Thumb on bass string, and then 3 fingers on the other 3 strings. And then on beats 2 and 4, there's this tapping technique. So you tap beat 4, 1, 2, and then there's a thumb on the and then the chords on 1, 1, 1, 2, and 3, and. Obviously you need to practice that a while, get into that if you haven't tried that technique before. It's quite an unusual one for Bert. John Martin made it his own in the 70s. Okay, and then there's a little line between, which again I'll show you on the left hand in a second, leading into the A chord. There's one more beat on the G. 1, 2, and 3, and. Just to go through that again on the right hand. Then thumb and 3 fingers together again on that offbeat. Okay, and on the A, same thing, but without that last little chord there, because the melody line starts a beat earlier. In his music, he starts with this little tune leading into that chord. When he played it live, he would tend to start with the chord to kind of get into the groove of it. So I'm going to do it this way, starting with the chord. Then you get this linking melody line leading into the A. Little finger goes up to 7th fret on the 6th string, and now you want to stay in this position here with 1 finger per fret. So the next note comes on the 4th fret of the 5th string, C sharp, open 4th string, 5th string here. So try and make those notes, try and let those notes ring over one another as much as you can. Okay. So from the chord, and then you can drop into the A chord in that position. So the end of the melody, that little line, is the 4th fret on the 4th string, the F sharp, So if you pick that, you don't need to get this finger in there immediately, because the melody is there. Then you can pick the whole chord. And just that on the A. Then this little line. Again, letting the notes ring as much as you can. So we're starting here on the C sharp, open B, A here on the fourth string, and slide down third string to fourth fret. And that takes you into the G. So you want to leave this finger on that string, hold that down there. And back to the fourth string chord. The open B can be left ringing, and you can pick it again here, just to kind of add a little more to that chord there. So let me try this whole little section again, starting with the chord. Okay. Okay, the tempo, by the way, on the original Avocet album, it was really pretty slow, and it sounded a bit different on the second chord. I'll show you that in a second. But he tended to gradually speed this up in future, in subsequent live performances. So by the time he did the live at McCabe's version, he was on about somewhere like this. Nice and relaxed, yeah. A little bit further on, he'd moved up to about 115. I think we've given in the book 114, but 115 is what he specified, which is this. You can hear that metronome there, and that gives it a nice steady and so on. He sped up later. I think by the time he got to live at the 12 bar, mid-90s and later, he was up to something like this. Okay, that gets a bit more challenging, certainly later on in the tune. So this is the first part of what I'm calling the A section of the tune. G major 7 to A6. So rather it's an F sharp minor, strictly speaking, with an A bass. On the Avocet original album, the chord does actually drop to F sharp minor. Danny Thompson's bass comes down to F sharp. So even if Bert was playing this chord, which he probably is, the bass kind of turns it into something much more like an F sharp minor. Also the violin melody on the original, which is the equivalent of this, but ends up coming down to there, so somewhere like this. And the second chord so it's more like that change. If you're wondering why, what we're playing here doesn't sound quite like the Avocet track. But live, of course, he always played it coming up to an A bass here. Okay, I'll just go through that once more. The opening section. Okay, and technically there, if you really keep your fingers hard down all the time, try not to let them go any more than you have to, That's what helps keep it smooth, helps keep it legato. So, second time, well the third time I think it is in that little bit of tune here. Instead of coming down back to the G, it doesn't do that. Instead of going to the C sharp and sliding down, play the A again, and then an open D, because we're changing to this chord, which is a G major triad with a B bass, and the picking pattern is seventh fret notes first, open B, and then the G here on the fourth string. That immediately slides up to 2 frets up to an A chord, A over C sharp. Syncopation there, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's C sharp is on beat 4 again. Then the 4 and is the E, and then the E minor chord here, this is an E minor, is on beat 1 of the next bar. So let me just play that through and see if I can get the timing there. Okay. So now we're on the E minor chord here. The next thing is to slide up to 12. The slide here is because you've got to get to the 12th fret, so it's not a big slide. So you're just leaving the 7th fret to get to the harmonics on 12. Again, the harmonics on 4th and 2nd strings, and then back down those 2 strings here. So 11, 10. And 9, 8, down to this bar on the 7th fret, strings 4, 3, 2. Okay, let's go through that section again there. From the last of these. Now that goes back to the G chord. Now if you want, you can go all the way around that again, but normally what he would do live, he would just go straight to the second section. So after that G major 7, we get an F sharp 7 sus4 down to F sharp 7. So that's the shape. And you can play the whole 6-string bar if you want, but all you really need is those bottom 4 strings. Okay, F sharp 7. Now we're into B minor, and we've got a descending bass with the tune on top. So we start with. Now you can play the whole B minor shape here. Middle 4 strings, no bar, just the middle 4. So B bass, and then these 2 notes here, the B and the D. Now on the A bass, we're reaching back to hammer on the F, and the open E, the B, the D and the B. Now those 2, to keep these fingers in place, the B can be here, but he he would play the open B because he's changing his hand position here to get into this G bass, D here, open, and the open B. So the rhythm of that so the bass is 1, 2, and the tune on the 2 and 1, 2 and. And then the bass comes back up this way. So if you have your index here, go back, and middle finger getting back to the B that way. Second time, just the open B, and this time the bass is syncopated. Let me play those 2 lines again. Third time, same as the first time. Now we go into an F sharp 7 line. The A sharp first on the 3rd string, open B, into an F sharp, just the outer 2 strings here. So this is before the beat, the top F sharp, and the bass is on the beat, and 1. Coming down the 2nd string, 5-3 open. Let the bar go at that point, because now we're going to an E minor 7 chord. Okay, and it can be quite full here if you want. Again, a syncopated 2nd beat, G. Different syncopation on the G, so E minor is this, and the G, 1 and, then an A7 sus4 to A7, down to the A on the 3rd string. Now the A on the 3rd string, play it with the, press it with the 3rd finger, because that's going to come back here to the chord, and then we go around the whole 1st section again. In fact, both sections go round twice. So once through the first 2 sections, just to show you how it leads into the key change. Point, remember 3rd finger here on the A to slide up, but now we're going to slide up 1 more fret into an A flat major 7. Okay. Same shape, just everything is 1 fret higher now. And now of course we don't have the open strings to get that nice rigging effect. So the tune is now, little finger here on the 8th fret, index on the 5th, then up the 5th string like that. Into the B flat 6. And again here we don't have the open strings, so it's going to be D, C, B flat, C, slide down again from the D and back into the A flat. Okay. Now, this time, again, because there's no open string available, you slide the D here up 1. So a little finger comes back here. Again, no harmonics. So from this chord, we're going to fret 13th fret. Otherwise all the same coming down into the back to our A flat major 7. Now to get out of that, we go to a G7 sus4, and then it takes us 1 fret down, back to the F sharps, sus4 and F sharp 7, and back into the B minor section. Back to the A section to go all the way through that once more. There's one little thing I forgot to mention, by the way, on the B minor rundown. So there's a bit of hammer on here, and then the D here, he bends this D a little bit to get a kind of blue note there. And you can do what you like with that. You can do a bit of vibrato on it if you like, or just a gentle bend he puts on there, not very much. Definitely not anything like that. Okay. So then we go all the way around the opening section again. This time, when you come down back into the G major 7 and just a little bit of a vibrato on both those strings if you can manage it. Okay, so from here, and then slow down a little bit here if you like. Finishing right on that chord. So, there we go. Kingfisher.